Hi, this is a review of the orderIT trading system activity for July the 7th, 2021. We had 4 trades on that day, 3 were buys and 1 was a short sell. First trade was DS. That's Driver Shack Incorporated. Drive Shack Incorporated, tripped at 11:42 a.m. at a price of 302. It was a buy. Closed the day at 293. It was down 6.09%. So it must have came up around that time. 11:42. Yeah, see, it came up around here. 3.02. It didn't come up. 3.03. Okay. I'm going to say it's a positive, but it's a very light positive, as the fact that there's a half an hour here, almost 3/4 of an hour after the time where it jumped up above its tripping price a couple of times, at least from the time graph, probably more based on the price range. But I'm going to call it a positive just because it did jump up more than once, even though it's not strong. As you can see, it came across, and then today it actually dropped again. So that stock. Okay, OBV volume pretty much is mimicking the price activity. Came up, and then you can see it dropped in the afternoon. MACD came up. You can see this drop, but you can see it's recovering, which is good. The MACD is showing recovery. DI though is showing more negative than positive. It looks like it was trying to make a recovery, but again, negative, basically moving sideways at the end of the day. And Boiler Brand same thing, came up, moved sideways, end of the day came down. So stock technically was moving negative. Next trade is DNN. That's Denison Mines Corporation, tripped at 12:09 p.m. Price of 113. It was a buy. Closed the day at 115. So I'm going to consider that a positive since it closed above its tripping price, although it was down 0.86%. So our stock was down from previous close. OBV jumping back and forth. You can see when it came up. You see the end of the day, afternoon, it was coming up. MACD, same thing, came up, tapered off in the afternoon a bit, and late afternoon it came up again. DI, same thing. Interesting, it was showing very strong negative early morning, and then showing somewhat positive, and then negative, and it was coming down on the averages. Even though positive, it was moving up again at the end of the day of its averages and Bollinger Band. Technically, the stock was moving positive, not strong positive though. Next trade is FEYE, FireEye Incorporated, tripped at 12:01:03 p.m. at a price of 21.65. It was a buy. Closed the day at 21.76, up 2.54%. So that's another positive. So we'll take a look at the indicators. OBB good. It's coming up in the afternoon. Interestingly, it tripped here, then dropped a little bit, but in the afternoon it came up. MACD came down, came up, showing up. DI actually a little bit of a negative here in the early afternoon. Interesting. See, it jumped, and then afternoon jumped again, fairly strongly. Bollinger Band, same thing, moving sideways for the most part for that drop period that the other indicators were showing. Bollinger Band price-wise, not a drastic downward activity, so somewhat sideways. So stock looks to be moving positive. Next trade is BLIN. That's Bridgeline Digital Incorporated, tripped at 1:40:10 p.m. at a price of $8.96. It was a short sell. Closed the day at 855, down 30.09%, so that dropped drastically, and down 3.98%. That stock is doing very badly. So that's another positive. And I'm going to assume the indicators has got to show a negative trend because, okay, OBV in the afternoon came down. Interestingly, the stock was moving up in the early period. Not drastically. It looks like it's not strong. Price-wise, it's not really drastic. You can see this little jump here in the early afternoon, which is what it had there price-wise. So MACD is showing the averages came up in the afternoon, early afternoon, and then dropped. Moved sideways. So even though it dropped quite drastically, it probably dropped pre-market and then stabilized and kept itself there. And you can see DI, yeah. That's very interesting because so I just want to change the range here. Make that 7. There we go. That's more of a clear picture for Bollinger Band. Yeah. And a little bit of drop. Actually, the indicator during the trading period is actually not showing drastic downward trend. In fact, for the most part, it's showing as much positive as negative. So it looks like it was bouncing back and forth, at least there. So take a look to see where it came up. Yeah, see, its previous close was 12.23. It opened at 9.99, so you could see like its drop was 30.09, but that was pre-market. So just happened to catch it again. 1:40:10 p.m. was when it tripped, which I don't think I said. So it tripped around there. So I thought that stock would show a absolute negative downward trend, but it actually was not. It actually stabilized. So the drop was from pre-market. Anyways, that's still 4 stocks out of 4. That shows positive, so that's 100%. That's a good day. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.